Are you guys ready for a futuristic battle game? Oh, yeah! Yeah! Let's bring it up right now to discuss enemy territory Quake Wars from Splash Damage, Paul Wedgwood. Bring him up. Bring him. Come on, this side. This side. What's up, bro?
Hey.
How are you?
Good, you?
I'm very good. I just want to get this. You're English?
I am.
And you guys know he's English?
I enunciate.
You do? So I was wondering if I could just do the whole interview as Ozzy Osbourne.
Absolutely.
All right.
Aren't you doing that already?
No. You guys are Americans. You're supposed to be with me, okay? We're not. Oh, who said that? You never get out of the house, I think. I'll just do one question as Ozzy.
All right. Well, ID software known for creating.
I'm kidding. All right. ID Software is known for creating iconic titles as Doom and Quake. How did the Splash Damage, id, and Nerve work together to bring enemy territory, Quake Wars, to the console?
That's a long question.
It is, dude. I want to know how you got this game going.
You know, when we started out with Wolfenstein Enemy Territory originally, we had this really big following. We started Enemy Territory Quake Wars back in 2003, and about 2 years in, it's a PC game, so you play on a keyboard and a mouse. And about 2 years in, we got analog controller support working. We thought, you know, this would be a really cool game for the console. Mm-hmm. And that was it. id Software, they appointed a company called Nerve Software. You guys have probably heard of them. They've developed a whole bunch of Xbox games with id Software, so we knew we had a company that had the pedigree to develop the game. Mm-hmm. And of course, the big thing is that it's had bots added, and this means that you can play offline and practice. You know, you don't have to go online and get your ass kicked straight away.
All right, cool. And what character classes can play the game, and like what makes it different?
Well, so in terms of character classes, you know, we mean combat roles, right?
Combat roles.
Right. And
RPG. Role playing.
Right.
Yeah.
You got it. You know, you in the game you can choose to play as the Strog, a kind of advanced alien race with really cool technology.
It's called the what? The Strog?
The Strog.
The Strog.
Yeah,
Okay.
from Strogos.
Astrogos. Okay.
Right.
All right.
And then, or you can play as the Global Defense Force, the humans, who have more conventional military weapons. You know, like assault rifles, grenade launchers, tanks, that kind of thing.
All right.
So the whole goal of the game is that you can choose a playing style, a combat role that suits your preferred playing style.
Okay, what's your playing style?
I like playing assault. I like being right there on the front line, blowing stuff up with rocket launchers and that kind of stuff.
So you like to blow people
Intensity.
up?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Maybe too much tea. Do you want to get right into the footage? You want to talk about the footage?
Well, you know, this video is the first time we've shown, the Xbox 360 showing, running basically Enemy Territory Quake Wars. So this is that huge game that's being developed for the PC with all of its PC power and everything, working perfectly well on an Xbox 360.
All right, cool. So let's look at some stuff.
So this map is Reversion Island, which is down in the South Pacific, and it's the last surviving facility that holds data on the first Strog slipgate to arrive. The Strog have possession of the island, and the GDF, they're attacking the island to try and recover this data. They have a series of objectives. So you're actually playing online with your friends and against other real humans to pursue these military objectives. You can play as the GDF or the Strog. You can pick a combat role really that suits your playing style. So I talked about playing assault earlier, and that's this soldier guy here. You can have a big rocket launcher and run around blowing stuff up. Or medics, reviving your teammates and healing them. Engineers, deploying defense turrets, planting landmines. The field ops, who calls in big airstrikes and artillery attacks. Or even this guy, the spy, who can gather intelligence for your team. Of course, you can play the Strog, and they have a whole bunch of roles as well. But this is Steve, a guy from Activision, spawning into the game. Now, the thing is, obviously, with a game that's this deep, there can be a tendency for it to feel overwhelming at the start. So we have a thing called the mission system. And this tells you exactly where to go, what to do when you get there, and what your reward's going to be for success. So you'll see it fade out, and it's up in the top left-hand corner of the screen there. When you get given a mission, you know you're helping your team progress. You're not just kind of running around aimlessly deathmatching or capturing flags as you do in other games. So this guy we're behind now is an engineer, and it's his job to construct that generator to power up the island. He has to fight his way through to that location.
Whoa.
Now, the other thing is that in your inventory, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can use. So we have a thing called the use key, and this works really well on a console controller. You just hit one button, and it finds the appropriate item in your inventory and uses it on the thing that you're trying to achieve. So what this means is that as a player, you know, when you're more advanced, you can pre-select something like a heavy explosive charge and run in with it like a football. But when you're learning how to play, you don't have to understand all that stuff. You just hit your use key. It does the right thing when you're facing an objective. We have some pretty advanced vehicle physics in the game that mean you can do the kind of tactical thing like shooting wheels off of vehicles rather than just trying to blow them up completely. So you can play the game actually strategically rather than just mindlessly, you know.
Blowing it up.
Right.
All right.
And then obviously, because the game has a series of moves that you can make and then counters and counter-counters, there's always something you can do to get it back. And in this case, with a pair of pliers, you can repair the wheel.
Wow. Well, it's a lot different than Frogger.
Right.
And
It's moved on a bit.
yeah.
Well, now, the other thing, of course, is that although your team might have vehicles and you're pushing forward and trying to take an objective, of course, they can put up defenses as well, like this anti-vehicle turret, which is able to take out your vehicles. So now a soldier on your team is going to get a mission to take out that anti-vehicle turret that they've placed. So you can have a whole bunch of people on your team doing all kinds of things, playing their combats really well. You don't have to understand any of that stuff. You don't need to know that, you know, what the anti-vehicle turret does or why it's a threat to your team. You're just going to get a mission to go blow it up. And that's what he did. He put a explosive charge on it, and it blows the anti-vehicle turret up. And he actually got a promotion for that, so that's pretty cool. The other side of the game is that he got a promotion.
Blowing someone up.
Yeah. You can deploy a whole bunch of stuff in the game, like radars, artillery guns, defense turrets. This is an artillery gun that he's deploying now. We saw, you know, as that vehicle, the Badger truck, was approaching the base. It got blown up by the anti-vehicle turret, and there are other defense turrets there as well. So he can use this device to target that location and call in an artillery strike from that gun. And there are a whole bunch of deployables. You can put down radar to gather intelligence on the enemy. You can put down a defense turret that will just shoot at personnel. In fact, they can put down a shield generator that will stop this from happening by effectively vaporizing the shells as they come down out of the atmosphere. And you can play a kind of quieter version of the game as well. You don't actually have to fire a single shot in this game to get to the top of the scoreboard. You could just team play, focus on supporting your teammates, and still get to the top of the scoreboard. So the game really rewards heroic behavior, giving them health, reviving people, repairing their vehicles, repairing deployables, helping the team push forward. And I think that's part of the reason why, you know, with things like the big strategic strike missile as well, it's become such a popular pastime at big LAN parties and huge tournament events, you know, as it did with Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, which has had 15.2 million installations, because you have that strategic team play in the game.
Very good. It looks insane. It looks very sick. So I just want to say thank you. That was amazing.
Thank you very
Give it
much.
up for Paul Wedgwood. Splash damage.
Thank you.
Looks insane. Amazing. All right. Next up from the Spider-Man friend or foe, please give it up for Jamie Bayfus from Activision. Yes.
Good, how are you?
I've been wanting to kiss someone all day.
Well, here we go.
It's exciting.
You could have kissed any of these guys. I'm sure they'd be up for it.
I'm sure they might. Mike, we'll kiss later.
Mike, see?
Wants to deal with B-movie. All right. Premise of Spider-Man game. It's a family game. Why is it a
is.
family game? Let's talk
Well,
about it.
This one, just to give you an idea of what the game is, it's a teamwork game. So this is cooperative gameplay. It's Spider-Man teaming up with a host of sidekicks, as Robin mentioned, both hero and villain. And for this game, we've actually focused on the younger Spider-Man fans. So we've made sure that the game is really accessible, that anybody can pick up and play, regardless of your skill level. The look of it is very family-friendly, and the combat and the humor throughout will really carry that through.
Okay, does emo Spider-Man show up?
You know, we thought about that, but just couldn't get him
The
in
black
there.
eyeliner?
Yeah, the hair.
Looking like he's from 30 Seconds to Mars?
Oh, yeah.
All right, how do players encounter villains in the game?
Well, you first meet villains as bosses.
All right.
So Spider-Man's on this adventure. He'll be coming across these characters as he goes. as you get into the boss battle, you'll hopefully defeat him, and then that character will actually become part of your playable roster.
All right, and what about some of the locations that the player goes and visits?
Well, we're taking him out of New York for this one, and he's going to be traveling around the world. So he's going to locations like
Around the world.
Tokyo,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man around the world.
All right.
Nepal.
Nepal.
You been there?
No, I haven't.
Let's see, Egypt.
I've been to Cerritos. What?
Oh, me too.
Egypt? Okay.
Egypt, yes.
And
And Transylvania as well.
do you guys talk about his origins? It's like Spider-Man?
No, we do not.
Because I was always wondering if he was Jewish.
I don't know. I'll have to ask
Spider-Man?
him.
Phil
I know there's somebody
Spider-Man?
here
I
that
don't-
we can ask about that shortly. So.
The game is called Friend or Foe.
Yes.
Like foe what?
Faux fun.
Faux cheesy? Faux fun? Faux webs?
Yes,
Tell
faux
me
webs, faux
about
lots of webs.
Yeah. Tell me, the game has the unique ability to drop in and drop out multiplayer features. How's that work?
Basically, all you have to do is have a second controller plugged in, hit the start button, and a second player can jump in at any time. And as soon as you're done, you just hit another button and you're out.
All right, let's look at some stuff. What are we going to see?
We are going to see a whole lot of action. So we're going to show Spider-Man both fighting alongside and against several of our movie villains. And you'll see a pretty good variety of Spider-Man's abilities and some really cool special abilities from the sidekicks as well.
Spider-Man, friend or foe? Take a look. All right, there's Venom. There's Octagon.
He's one of my favorites.
There's no sound.
There's no sound. Where's our music?
There's
There we go.
There's
Green Goblin.
All right. I don't know
Venom
that.
again. This is Venom again. And an example of a boss battle. Using pumpkin bombs against him.
You are out of your mind, Goblin.
Goblin say something?
That was Spider-Man. There's actually some
Spider-
great banter in the games because these villains
So this
don't
is more-
particularly like Spider.
They talk. So it's more younger kids.
Yes, this is definitely targeted at the younger Spider-Man fans.
Okay.
Lots of humor, lots of good banter between the villains and the hero.
All right. Well, you know what? Before you go, I think it is an honor and a privilege for me to introduce the man who's responsible for Spider-Man. So you guys, please give it up for Mr. Stan Lee. Yes. Thank you, Stan. All right. Well, the game
Great.
looks amazing. So
Thank you very much.
Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The game looks amazing. Jamie Bafus, Activision, Stan Lee.